The Festival of Democracy is in its second phase. 95 parliamentary constituencies across 11 states and one union territory are voting as of now, and the voting percentages so far: Karnataka 22.5%, Tamil Nadu at 30%. So, but most of the states have not seemed to cross about between 30 and 40%, and the state of Jammu and Kashmir obviously is still really lagging behind. Can you shed some light, Smriti, on exactly what's happening right now?
So we are yet to see polling percentages cross 40% in most of these states, but there's still time. It's 1 o'clock. They will begin to gradually pick up. Also, there is a little lag in the collection of data, and by the time we receive it in Delhi, so percentages could have actually crossed 40 by now, but we'll get to know that gradually. So far, only Srinagar seems to be doing pretty. The voting hasn't picked up at all. It's about 4% in Srinagar, where 3 times Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah is contesting
there.
So the interesting thing is that he had lost the 2014 election also, but he won the seat again in the by-poll.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if people actually come out and vote there. Though I have to say, in Budgam and in Ganderbal, the percentages are far higher. It's more than double, triple. Budgam is about 12%, similarly for Ganderbal. So,
how do you see the voter turnout in this particular 2019 elections as compared to 2014? I mean, is there anything that stands out for you as far as voter turnout so far is concerned?
In the first phase, apart from a couple of constituencies such as Kairana, where polling actually went down, they were more or less on similar lines. So, I mean, it's still early days. First place was 91, today we are going to have 95 seats. So, this, I think we would end up with an almost similar, and of course, states varies. For example, Kerala, West Bengal, etc. are abnormally high polling. Whereas states like UP, Bihar, they normally settle somewhere around 60%, 65% or something like that.
Normally, if there's a very high voting compared to the previous election, it's normally considered as a vote against the incumbent. That's how it's normally read by experts and analysts. How would you read these kind of similar figures that are appearing?
No, I think one should be careful in quick interpretations of these kind, because in 14 years, so data shows that wherever polling percentages were higher, the BJP gained.
Right.
But there are many other instances where polling percentages need not mean a benefit for the anti-incumbent party also.
Right.
So one will have to see as to what exactly happens. I mean, then if one has granular data, how the first-time voters vote, whether a particular community or a set of people who support one particular party are not coming out to vote. For example, in a state like Kashmir, I mean, the lack of voting is completely different due to completely different reasons. It's got to do with the alienation.
Security issues.
Security and alienation rather than anything else.
Yeah.
One has to see how. I don't think one should generalize at the level of the country.
Sure. Let me just move on to the EVM machines this morning, which were many of, especially in Tamil Nadu and from Uttar Pradesh, the constituencies that are going to vote. They've reported a lot of faulty EVM machines, and then voting started late and things like that. This happened in the first phase too, and there was also this whole thing of ink drying out or disappearing in 45 minutes. And plus there are these violence. Today it was reported in West Bengal in Raiganj specifically. The role of the Election Commission has come under specific scanner in this particular election, or is it?
In fact, this is one of the elections where we've seen the anger and the skepticism that people had towards the EVMs shifting to the Election Commission per se. People want to, they expect an Election Commission which is seen to be doing more, which is heard to be doing more. And there are specific instances that people are citing for their skepticism about the Election Commission's role. For instance, the Namo TV, for instance, the speech that the Prime Minister made in Maharashtra. So these are examples that people think that the Election Commission should have taken suo motu cognizance, or even, the span of deciding whether these are violations should have been much shorter. They expect quick time response.
Yeah, it took the Supreme Court's intervention for the Election Commission to and not just for the biopic, even for the bans on
hate
the gag orders
on the hate speeches.
Yeah, on Mayawati, on Yogi Adityanath. What is your sense? I mean, why is this specific to this election, that the role of the Election Commission obviously is under a lot of scanner? The opposition has been crying foul for the longest time. There have been these IT raids. Do you feel that the entire process of democracy in this entire exercise, its importance is being diminished by these kind of accusations and counter accusations that are flying?
And there are two issues here. As far as the issue of violence is concerned, yes, Raiganj, certain instances have been reported. But we should not forget that Tripura East polling was cancelled
Due to a law and
the ECI
order.
did not deem it fit, the law and order situation was not conducive to hold elections. That's bigger. I mean, in Kuch Bihar also incidents of violence were reported, but as of now, I do not think the ECI has ordered repoll. So, unless the EC orders a repoll, one will have to see how it pans out. The other thing regarding the EC's impartiality and, especially income tax rates and all, the Hindustan Times has an editorial today where, the editorial clearly says that whatever has happened, and both the EC and because the EC actually expressed its displeasure to the Revenue Department and the Income Tax Department that this should not be happening.
Right.
So that, of course, I think matters have been vitiated, and one will hope that as polling progresses, these things do not recur.
Let's just talk about Tamil Nadu and Karnataka for a bit, Roshan, and I would come to you. We discussed this yesterday to a certain extent, but for the benefit of the people who are watching us right now, what is the sort of sense that you're getting in Tamil Nadu? I mean, these elections are very high stakes as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, especially for basically where the chips stack up for which party. Whether it's going to be the AIDMK coalition, BJP coalition, or whether it's going to be the DMK Congress coalition. How do you see this this entire, what's at stake for the state as well as at the central level?
Well, there are two things. One, after the passing away of Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi, there is a political void in the state of Tamil Nadu. And this time it is not going to be just the DMK and the ADMK coalition. I think within the ADMK coalition, if the coalition does well, the BJP for the first time would probably have a grounding in the state. Sure. Because then it will not be easy for the ADMK or the DMK to brush aside the BJP. Second is a lot of new parties like Kamal Hassan's party, I think, are also testing waters this time. Their real eyes, of course, would be on the assembly elections if they can make some sort of an impact. But if apart from these two major coalitions, if other parties get some success, it will be extremely interesting. And if DMK manages to sweep the state, like some pre-poll surveys are expecting it to, then I think Stalin would have successfully addressed the succession question, because there was some trouble within the DMK as well. Adagiri sort of rebelled against Stalin and all that. If the DMK does really well, Stalin would be the undisputed leader of the DMK. So a lot of things are at stake for everybody in Tamil Nadu.
And moving on to Karnataka, I mean, and just
I think Tamil Nadu, we should remember that the other thing that all political parties have to sit and sort of draw their attention to is the amount of money that is being spent in the polling. We had one constituency's election countermanded because the election commission was convinced that money is being used to vitiate the election process, and this is the third such incident in the state alone.
And it's very strange that I was actually watching on television.
It happened in 2017 and now again in 2019. So,
absolutely. So Tamil Nadu and Andhra, I think, are particularly notorious for the use of money power in elections. Of course, I was watching television this morning, and where Dhinakar had come out to vote, and his thing was that that why are the raids being conducted only on opposition parties? Why not on the ruling parties? And really, it was like, okay, it's fine that money is being recovered from one end, but what about the other end? It was not that why is money being recovered at all, because it's accepted. It's there that okay, fine, it's happening, but why just us? Why not them?
It's an offense,
exactly.
and
So there's this sense of
the political parties have to take a call on this. I mean, you can't fight elections on the basis of money. You are not going to be able to bribe the electorate. So this is a question that they need to ask, and the election commission has to do more. I mean, it has limited powers to deal with these things. I mean, this is the best they can do, countermand an election, but how do you take it forward?
Right. Moving on to Karnataka, and I'll come to you again, Roshan, on Karnataka. 14 out of 28 seats, almost half the state.
Southern part of the state.
Yeah, the southern part of the state, which is really dominated by the Vokalega community. And so the contest is, of course, between the ruling JDS and, of course, the BJP on the other end. But this has been a traditional JDS stronghold. How do you see? Can the BJP chip away at their pie, especially because this is a JDS stronghold and the Vokalega community has traditionally been a JDS voter?
So I think Karnataka, the parts which are going to poll today, there are three parts of it. One is the Hassan, Mandya, Tumkur, Mysore, which is the traditional Vokalega JDS stronghold. Other is the Bangalore. I think there are three seats in Bangalore, which has been with the BJP. Anand Kumar passed away. Now the BJP has fielded Tejasvi Surya from there. I think the coast is also going to the polls. Uttara Kannada, Dakshin Kannada. Now, the JDS strongholds, because the JDS and the Congress are in an alliance, it would be surprising if they do badly there. The real contest, I think, would be in Bangalore, where it is an extremely urban. Bangalore would also now have a lot of non-Kannada speaking population, both from the north and the southern states, as well as on the coast. Now, we know that the coast is a communally polarized region in Karnataka. The BJP did extremely well in the 2018 elections there. It remains to be seen as to how these three parts vote. And when we go to the north of Karnataka, there it will become a Lingayat versus non-Lingayat fight between the BJP and the Congress. So one has to see what happens.
Interestingly, this is also for Karnataka. It's also the entire Devagowda family seems to be in the fray. And of course, there are many who are pushing out the dynasty politics accusation. How do you see that playing out? I mean, there are a lot of futures which are at stake in this particular election as far as the Devagowda family is concerned.
Starting with him himself.
Starting with
his son and his grandson. So, I mean, how can you, if someone levels the allegation of dynasty politics there, how can you ever begin to defend it? There is no defense.
Right.
So, it'll be interesting to see how Karnataka votes also because, how are the urban centers doing it? Bangalore, for instance. Bangalore manages to dominate headlines, but it doesn't really come out to vote. Even in the last election, you saw voting percentages stop at about 50. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, are those voters actually going to vocalize their anger
or not? Or just going to still remain those sleeping active partners in the dance of democracy that we're seeing? I'll come to you with the dynasty question, and maybe if you can, because I was watching Kumaraswamy after casting his vote today. He said, dynasty politics is not there. Somebody asked him a question, about dynasty politics and this, that, and the other, and he said dynasty politics is not the issue. It's the national issues which are of importance, and I think all focus should be there. But it does seem to be that everybody is trying to set their families in place there.
Well, the Devagowdas are not the only political family who are doing this. You have the Mulayam Singh Yadav family,
you have a lot of
Lalu Yadav family. I mean, these are regional parties, of course. I mean, you also have dynastic politics, I think, within national parties. Both the Congress and the BJP are not exceptions to it. I think the question is if the electorate is vying to sort of support these people, then, the charge remains, but there's beyond a point, I don't think it matters. When I traveled in Karnataka in the Vokkaliga dominated regions, they almost worship the JDS like
they are
so it's utmost devotion.
Yeah,
so maybe for them, because we have to remember that more than anything else, these are community leaders. So the Devagowdas there represent the Vokkaligas. So for Vokkaligas in Karnataka, for the Yadav say in Bihar or in UP, there's also a lot of sentiment at play. For them, more than probably a flyover or a road or a development project, it also matters that somebody from their community has sort of control of state power.
Sure,
so that's
a very important part of how politics in India is played out. That's the caste and the region and the votes and the language. All of it plays a very, very important role. I'm going to put an end to this here, and we'll keep coming back to you guys with more updates. For now, still a few hours to go. Please go out and cast your vote if you haven't done so already. And the Festival of Democracy still has 5 more phases to go to second phase today and 5 more to go, and we'll keep bringing you more updates. Keep watching HindustanTimes.com.